Yes.
Hi. Wait, let me turn my music down. It's too loud. I swear I know what I'm professional. There we go. Highly professional.
Yes.
Hi everyone. Hi. Hello, hello. Hi everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Who is here? Let's see. Hello, Teiyu. Teiyu, you were first.
Hi. Hello.
Hello, that red panda. Hello, Score. Hello, Crystallic. Hello, Zerkia. Hello, a weird flea bro. Hello, Gorenge. Hi, Comi Belladonna. Hello, Ognes. Hello, Anna. Hello, Potter. Hello, Fortress Spy. Can't stay today, but I hope you have a good stream. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you, thank you. Gosh, how many of you are in class? Why are you all in class? It's late. What? What? I guess it's not late everywhere, actually. I just remembered time zones exist. Hello, Josh Jane, and hello, Trustira. Hi. Hello, hello. How are you doing? Hello. Everybody, if you don't already know Teiyu, how? How do you not, do you even go here? Like, how?
How?
How? Teiyu, would
How?
you like to introduce yourself?
Bwah. Hello. This is T, your emotional support animal. I do the streams and the things. Eventually, I'm totally gonna be alive again and like do like uh, video essays about like media and mental health and stuff. It's gonna be great.
It is going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Eventually.
excited.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Look, it happens on whatever timeline it happens on. That's my approach to life generally.
That is wise.
Yes. Would you like to hear my goat noise?
Oh,
I don't
please
know why I even offered that. Never mind.
do it. It's too late to
I,
back out.
maybe it's more. Maybe it's more of a sheep, actually. Oh, why am I like
Wonderful.
this?
Absolutely beautiful.
Why am I like this? Oh dear. Okay, so if I could ask everybody, how is the audio sounding? Is it sounding okay? Are we sounding? Are we sounding okay? Do we sound acceptable and tolerable, and like we are understandable and coherent? Maybe not coherent, actually. Maybe that's a step too far. I don't feel coherent today.
Well,
There
close enough. It'll do.
we go. Okay. I'm still moving stuff around. I need to stop. I need to stop fiddling with my OBS. Okay, right. Yes. Sounds okay. Excellent. Excellent. Note chat, there's been an updated goal for Autistica. Yes, there has indeed been more goals. Have you seen the new goals?
New
That was
goals.
new goals. Yes. Yes, there's new goals. If you type exclamation mark donate, it will take you to the Tiltify page where you can have a look at what new goals
Oh
are.
my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. One of them's ASMR.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they went really well last time I did it. Oh dear. Anyway,
Ghosts of
so
fanfic past.
uh, d- d- yes.
Please do explain.
So in the past, I may or may not. I can't confirm or deny unless we hit the milestone. I may or may not have indulged in a small amount of fanfic writing, but it
Oh
was
my god.
exclusively for one intellectual property, and um, I don't want to say what it was, but I'll do it for charity.
For charity.
For charity, I'll do it. I'll humiliate myself for charity.
Hang on, I need to comment on another goal. I will finally do a React stream. Aren't you always doing React streams? Isn't that what your your paper reading streams actually are?
I would say I can't argue with this actually. They're not a React stream. They're an educational React stream. It's different.
No, but it's the same thing.
It's
It's just
not.
like, you can't just say it's different just because it's good.
It's different. It's different. The difference
Like
is the difference is papers, okay?
Mhm.
The ones that I read always explicitly have like a Creative Commons by attribution license, which means they explicitly say that you are allowed to use this for React content. Whereas like React content in the traditional way, you don't know whether the original creator is okay with it. React people take the approach of like it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Hmm. I'm not convinced, but okay. I'll let it slide for now.
It's I just do React content this whole time. No, it's so over. Oh
Okay, but
dear.
genuinely though, I had a friend who was like fretting about doing React content, and I was like, "That's what you always do, though, when you play games. You actually like analyze like the sociological and psychological content of like what's going on with the characters and whatnot." So it's like, why would that be different when you're dealing with like a Reddit post, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
I like React content is fine if it's educational, I guess. No, but like I'll do it. I like if we hit the charity goal, I will do an entire React slop segment. Like I will do an actual React slop. I won't be able to do slop. I can't do it. I can't just sit there and eat food while it's playing and then go, oh wow, wow,
Yeah, that would be a
haha,
shitty React stream too.
haha.
Look at
I
me,
reckon
I'm
I could do it
reacting.
once
This
for the
is a
bit.
smile. It is a smile. That is a reaction. Are you entertained?
I am the funniest streamer ever. Watch me as I play videos and I just go, haha,
Huh,
ha,
huh, baby fall
ha,
down.
ha.
Oh, that kitty, that cat does not
Oh.
know how human work. Very fun.
Oh dear. Hello, Sayon. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Rainsers. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Hi, Racco. Hi. Hi, hi. And hello, Spidooey. Hi. Welcome in. Welcome in. The secret to React content. The secret to React content is potential copyright infringement.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep. See, I do ethical React content because the papers have the right license. That's definitely how it works.
I
Oh
see.
dear. Yes, yes. So, the plan for today is that we have no plan. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
I
mean,
feel really bad. I'm sorry. I like messaged you like literally half an hour before the stream and was like, "Hi, I'm done with work. I haven't read any of the papers." So,
and meanwhile, I was over here, like, preparing my butt off. By which
you
I
know
mean,
what?
I read the questions that you posed off the top of your head and, uh, thought about them for, like, a bit, and then also I came up with my own question, one question. So
You did better than me then because I've forgotten what questions I asked.
well then.
No, I think I remember. I think I remember. So I think if I remember correctly, I I was looking through some papers and I found a couple of interesting ones. One's a preprint, one's a paper. I didn't read the paper. I briefly skimmed the preprint. But like I've been thinking about this idea of like basically like what is neurodiversity? Like what is it? What is it? I've been thinking about diagnosis and self-identification. and whether there's any um whether people are accurate in identifying as neurodivergent basically. I've been thinking about like whether mental health experiences are different between neurodivergent and neurotypical people. And I've also been thinking, is mental health a form of neurodivergence? These
Hmm.
are all of the things that have been like bouncing around my head for a while. Um, and I am neurodivergent, but I have very, very little experience of mental health difficulties. Do you mind sharing your position?
Hmm. So, about are mental health differences a form of neurodivergence? That's a very interesting question because I didn't even realize that that was like up for debate.
Hmm.
But then again, I guess that's what science is. You just don't take anything for granted, right? Um, so like my understanding was that neurodivergence is basically something that you're born with, where your brain just kind of tends to like functions on a kind of fundamental-ish level. I'll get back to that later. Um, Differently from like the typical brain. And it's like, just something that you're born with. Um, and then meanwhile, mental health, I feel like that can be kind of distinguished, like put into at least two different categories. Like one where it's just kind of you know, you learn things and eventually like like the way that people just learn things and eventually like it gets to a point where like things get a little they develop in a way where um it just gets harmful to yourself and or others. And then there's like ones where like I don't know, your brain just gets literally injured from outside and that fucks things up, you know?
Hmm.
And
So,
you know, there's
can I
an
ask a question?
sure.
So, would that be like, uh, so would that be like the difference between things which are kind of widely accepted as like arising from situational factors, like, um, like kind of like low grade depression in response to like having kind of rubbish living circumstances, for example, versus like having depression from a really like that's quite severe from a really really young age that affects you all throughout your life, like is that kind of the difference that you're talking about there?
No, no, I mean, like, literally something that you're born with. I was given to understand that
Oh,
that is what, neurodivergence is, right? Like,
I
that
see.
like,
Okay.
as far as I know, ADHD and, autism are something that you just happen to be born with, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah.
ADHD and autism seem to be genetic, but then
Hmm,
that's interesting in itself because there's a bunch of mental health conditions that seem to have a really strong genetic component too. So, like for example, like psychosis. I
hmm,
think normally when they do research onto this, they specifically look at schizophrenia, but schizophrenia's got like a 95% hereditary rate. So, like
hmm.
the single biggest predictor of somebody having schizophrenia is whether one of their parents had it. So
Huh.
that's what I mean when I say like it's quite actually quite an interesting question when you start digging into it because like is that neurodivergence or is
I
it mental
guess
health
so.
or is it both?
I guess it would be like a neurodivergence thing, right? Because like I don't know, that's how I understand it. It's
Mhm,
basically like, mm, I was thinking about it in terms of like blindness. Like some people are born blind and others are like, they just get injured and then their eyes don't work anymore. And it's
mhm,
like, you know, mm, the idea of neurodivergence has come about kind of as like trying to celebrate the differences between people, right?
mhm,
Um, get some acceptance for like just different ways of experiencing life. But, obviously, if you are born with an ability and then you lose that ability, it's going to be a tough sell to tell you like, "Oh, hey, you get to have a totally different life experience now. Isn't that beautiful?" You know?
Mm,
Um, and of course, that's not a perfect correspondence to like, you know, to that kind of mental health thing.
mhm,
Because like, when of course with a blindness, that's literally just an ability you lose. And of course that leads to, having a different life experience that can be also very gratifying by like being more focused on just the auditory sensations you experience and stuff like that. But um it's different from being like, for example, autistic, where just, your brain just works differently, and maybe you have like some really cool abilities that other people don't have, or maybe you just think differently, and that's also cool because like you get to look at things from a different angle. It's just different rather than like, just losing something entirely. So
mhm,
it's, obviously it's not like one to one, but I that's the angle that I approach it from, is just that like when you are just born with something, and it's like, okay, and then we need to accept that reality. So what do we do with this now? And whereas for the mental health thing, it's really more like, okay, how do we manage to like treat this? How do we manage to get this person to still be happy with this? Of course, like obviously, obviously, you still need to make sure that the person is happy with their neurodivergence. But the neurodivergence in itself is usually not a source of suffering. It's just
mhm,
the way that people react to it, and that the way that you don't tend necessarily fit into systems and stuff. So I don't know.
mm.
That's my thoughts so far. They're not very well, fleshed out yet, but yeah.
I have some thoughts too, but I'm gonna very
Mm,
quickly say hello to people that have turned up.
yeah,
Hello Subtle Bide, hello Woodsticks, hello Nuclear Saltwater, and hello Hunter. Hello, hello. Hi everybody. And hi Shark Builds Bro as well. Hello. And Luke as well. Hi. And Severian, hello. Is neurodivergent a clinical term? It is not. It is not a clinical term, it's a community term. So it's one that neurodivergent people themselves have generated. But it is now used in research literature, like a fair amount. Like, there's a fair amount of research explicitly about neurodiversity as a paradigm. Um, would it be helpful if I like give definitions and stuff as far as I understand it? Okay.
sure.
Okay. Also, hi, Janice Upperpunk. Hello, hello. So my understanding of like the research definition of neurodivergence, at least in psychology, is that neurodiversity is this idea that basically like people's brains, the neurology, they have a natural level of variation in them. Uh, kind of in the same way as like biological systems have a natural level of diversity in them too, like in terms of biodiversity, right? So neurodiversity as a paradigm argues that those natural variations in people's brains are they should just be accepted as differences by and large. Like unless they're causing problems for the individual or for the people around them, then they should just be accepted. But then that in itself is interesting because that's a really like that's the definition that I've heard is that yeah, like neurodiversity is natural variation, neurodivergent is varying in your neurology from the typical. So there's like an average brain, and if you are in some way significantly different from that average brain in one or more cognitive abilities, then you are neurodivergent. But then that in itself is really, really interesting because, first of all, that's like a really broad definition. And if we're taking that approach, the average, if you take like a person who has been diagnosed with like major depressive disorder, when you look at brain scans, their brain is on average different to a non depressed person. So does that make them neurodivergent? I genuinely don't know. Like it feels like it's a really broad concept and I'm really struggling to like work out where the lines are. And then like we could go with like as you say it's like something that you're born with. But then like I said like like conditions like schizophrenia feel like they kind of throw a spanner in the works because they are both neurodivergence under that definition. You're technically born with it. A lot of people, it doesn't manifest until they're in their like 20s or 30s. If they get diagnosed with it, it manifests late, but it does eventually. Like it was always there because it seems to be significantly genetic. So is that neurodivergence? Because that's also mental health. I don't
Well,
know.
why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, it's right. But then if it's also in general, uh, if it's also generally like being different from the typical, does that mean that you can acquire neurodivergence? Like if you're significantly different in one or more cognitive traits, can you like if someone has like an injury or a stroke or something, does that mean that they are also neurodivergent? There's so many layers to this that I really want to untangle. Because I don't know. It's just really interesting to me. It's really, really interesting.
Hmm. Nice knife.
Hi.
Hmm. That that thing about acquiring it, like that feels like it should fall under the same umbrella because, like, it's one of those. It falls under the same thing that I said, whereas it's just like, this is just how it is now. We just have to accept that, like, um, you definitely know about that guy, like, who, what was it? Who thinks his wife is a hat or something?
Yes.
Yes,
I've actually
like,
never read that book. It's really bad.
hmm, but like, you can't not call that neurodivergence, right? Like, that is definitely like a fundamentally neurological
Mhm.
thing that's going on there, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But then does that if you're including everybody with any kind of developmental difference or like acquired brain difference or like mental health condition, at that point I feel like you're starting to hit like a very, very significant part of the population. And at what point does it stop being a useful label? But
Hmm,
maybe it's a useful label regardless, because maybe because of the fact it's community led rather than clinician led, clinician led, sorry. Maybe that inherently means that like whoever feels like they should identify with it should. I don't know.
hmm. Yeah, that is an interesting question because, like, mm, in terms of like the goal of creating acceptance, that is, that would help it. Um, but like, yeah, I think there is a good point in like distinguishing between mental health issues like depression because like that is something that is acquired and you probably don't want. Like, you um, cannot and should not want to treat autism or something. So, because that is just
Mm.
like an inherent difference, not something that is like that you could change without just creating an entirely different person, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
That's a good point actually. Maybe the differentiating factor would be like, is it is it the the difference itself that is causing problems, or is it society causing problems for somebody with the difference? Maybe
Hmm.
that is the thing that would be like the conceptual distinction between whether somebody's neurodivergent versus um has I don't know has a condition that should be treated. Yeah,
Hmm.
because mm, I mean, even then it's kind of difficult to say though, because even just autism, if we're just talking about autism, like autism is also a broad umbrella label. There's people, like me. I would say I'm relatively independent. I have adjustments at work, but my work, I'm very, very lucky. My work is it works in a our work style is it something that matches how I work anyway. So I have like flexible working and stuff like that. And, you know, that means I don't actually really need reasonable adjustments very often. But like, even if we're all like at a conference in person, I can just leave the room and my managers are like, okay, fair enough. Because
Hmm.
one of them is also neurodivergent
Yeah.
and gets it. um, but yeah, like I mostly look after myself okay. Um, I have friends. Like I don't really need that much support on a day-to-day basis in the grand scheme of things. Whereas like somebody else with an autism diagnosis, they might be non-verbal, they might not be able to hold down a job, they might really, really struggle with like comorbid health problems. Um, and like if part of their autism presentation is that they're, for example, like, you know, engaging in like dangerous behavior, like a lot of like younger autistic kids have this tendency of just like running away out of nowhere. They would just bolt, they would just disappear off into the distance. And
Huh.
like that is something where there often actually is like a I guess like a, in quotes, like a treatment, like there's like behavioral interventions so they don't do that anymore because obviously it's dangerous to them.
Hmm.
So like that's arguably got a treatment in a way. It's not like addressing the root cause of it, but then, you know, that's not necessarily the way that we manage mental health either. A lot of the time with mental health, we'll be like, here's some medication to kind of get you closer to baseline so that you can start to manage your symptoms. And then we'll go to therapy so you can start to work through the core of what's actually causing it.
Hmm.
But even then, like, it's not always guaranteed that it's going to treat it in a literal sense. So I don't know.
Hmm. Hang on, I'm curious about the running away. Is that
Mhm.
like that's is that in itself a symptom, or is it like a response to something, like
I
to a
think it's a
deeper cause?
response to things. Yeah, I think it's a
Right.
response to things. I don't know why they do it, but I used to do it. I can't tell you
Hmm.
why. I don't remember. But like if we were in like a shopping center and I think you're right. I think it was like a response to things. If it was like something, if I didn't like it, then I would
Hmm.
just run away. Or the other thing is that I would also go and hide. Like if we were in a clothing shop, I'd go and hide in the clothing racks.
Hmm. Because yeah, then I don't know, because that makes it not something inherent to the neurodivergence
That's
itself,
true.
but rather just like a way that you learn to handle it,
Yeah.
like being overwhelmed or whatever.
Sparksmaker said, I always considered neurodivergent to be more behavioral than physical, but I'm just a dude chatting on Twitch. What do I know? I mean, a lot of mental health problems are behavioral slash like slash like mental, emotional rather than physical. The interesting thing about a lot of mental health conditions is that like we think that there might be biological markers for it, but it's really difficult to actually identify them. Like there's a lot of things that seem to correlate and we haven't really nailed down what they actually mean yet or whether it's causal. So yeah. Also
Hmm.
hello Savitar, Aux, CWW. Aux, thank you for the 15 stream streak. What the heck? Hello Orishura and hello Ikatono. Hello, hello. And Dot Rect as well. Hi. Hello, hello. I'm imagining little Psydere trying to hide in the clothing racks and the image is cute. I'm hiding. I probably, if you took me into a giant clothing shop, I would probably still do it actually. I don't go into clothing shops ever. I hate them so much.
Aw.
I hate them so much. Oh dear.
I'm a ninja.
Yeah, it's really interesting, like trying to tease apart conceptually. I think like I've talked to people that like research this kind of thing as a for a job, and they also don't seem to have any answers. Like some researchers that I know who research neurodiversity do literally take the approach of like, everything is neurodiversity. Mental health is neurodiversity. Like that's the core of what that definition is. Is that like it's any deviation from the norm, so that includes all of it. And then other people are like, no, because then it stops being useful in a
Yeah.
way for communities, but also for researchers. So we need to just focus on like developmental conditions. But
Hmm.
even then, like, is given the pattern that schizophrenia tends to show, is that a developmental condition? Like, I don't know.
Hmm.
I have so many questions.
I mean, I don't know enough about schizophrenia to be able to tell anything about it. But like, you could maybe argue that if it's just like a predisposition, then it's maybe like just one of those things where like um, it gets like activated by as like some kind of like a maladaptive uh, coping mechanism or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
I don't
maybe that would
know.
fall more into that usual mental health category.
Maybe. Was a horseshoe linking schizophrenia to autism? I never liked it. I don't know if there's any overlap between those actually. I don't I've not heard of an overlap between them, but I might be wrong. I know there's an overlap between so autistic people are more likely to experience depression, generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety disorder specifically, and obsessive compulsive disorder. And out of those, uh, over the course of my life, I previously was diagnosed with all of the above.
Oh dear.
Yeah. But though the OCD was really weird. It was like medication induced. It was very strange.
Oh,
Um, yeah. But like I got diagnosed with OCD like before I was diagnosed with autism. And I think well actually no, that's a lie. I was diagnosed with the depression and social anxiety and OCD all before my autism diagnosis. And then when I got my autism diagnosis, they were like, I think you might have been misdiagnosed. And then they were like, come back if you have problems with these again. We're just going to pretend they were never on there.
whoops. Just push,
Oopsie.
push those under the closet.
Apparently, that's a pretty common experience, like specifically for people that are late diagnosed. Though, is that like that they get told like, oh, you have like this, and this, and then like the mental health diagnosis list gets longer and longer and longer, and then um they get diagnosed with like autism or ADHD, and then it's like, oh, I guess these were actually all just neurodevelopmental difference symptoms.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, wait. Some of the shops that I go to are so much stimuli that it takes me a hot minute to handle the new information coming in. When I was little, I'd get dizzy and look up. That's a mood. I do that too. I feel like there's also an identity politics component. Like some people consider neurodivergent folks as a community and want to gatekeep it from the undesirables. Hmm. Maybe. I don't know. I, hmm. But then like that in itself is really interesting, right? Because if it's an identity that people like it's a community generated identity, but like if more people join that community who weren't initially in it, that fundamentally changes the composition of the community. So doesn't that also change the definition of it?
Hmm. Yeah, especially since it's being adopted by the science community as well.
Yeah.
It's turning into like a real functional term.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see how it changes over time because like I don't know the history of like many like well really any. I don't really know the history of any diagnostic labels. So I don't know if that's a thing that's happened before. Hmm.
I imagine so. There's
Maybe.
been some discussion about like how um, sexual orientation falls into that, for example, in chat.
Mm. That's very true. Yeah, because yeah, like sexual and gender minorities used to be in the DSM. Like it wasn't even like, oh, excuse me, I need to cough. I'm sorry. Can you hear how bad that is? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ah.
Ah! Hi,
Wow,
guys, y'all.
I destroyed my voice on karaoke the other day. Good lord. That's terrible. Also, hi, the lax one. Hello, hello. Yeah. What was I saying? I've forgotten.
Oh, queer people in the DSM, then
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, they used to be like in the DSM and it used to be an actual diagnosis and they used to like give really, really unpleasant in quotation marks treatment for it.
Mm.
Um but then the interesting thing is, so this preprint that I was reading, so I'll link it in the chat. Hang on. So there seems to be like some preliminary evidence that like queerness and neurodivergence like overlap pretty significantly.
Huh.
Uh, this is the preprint I was reading. Um, yeah, so it's basically they got like a sample of I think it was like 200 people. Half of them had a formal autism diagnosis, and the other half of them did not, but they identified as autistic. Um, and the thing that was super super interesting, like aside, the results in general are pretty interesting, but the thing that stood out to me was that like somewhere, let me find the exact number. Uh, so out of the whole sample, 53%, which is technically a majority, identified as a sexual identity other than straight.
Huh. Yeah, it's like I've heard about that before, at least in regards
Hmm.
to gender, and honestly, I I wouldn't be surprised if there was like this kind of bell curve meme where like on one end it's like being queer is like a mental illness or something, and then it goes like no, it's not, and then on the other end it's like yeah, no, it's neurodivergence, you know,
Yeah.
'cause, like it is just like part of natural
Hmm.
diversity, right? As far as I can tell.
Yeah. Yeah. But then that also raises the question. We know for a fact that queerness is not a mental health problem that needs to be
Hmm.
treated. Is it a
Yeah.
neurodiversity? Is it neurodivergent?
Yeah,
So
I
there's
guess
this
so.
like there's this theory. I feel really bad. I've forgotten who it's by, but there's this theory called I think it's literally just called like neuroqueer, I think. I want to say that it's like a book. I haven't personally read it. So I'm gonna be like, please take everything that I'm now saying with a pinch of salt. Okay. Um so yeah, it started off as a book and now it's like a whole it's like a critical theory framework for doing research, basically, I think. And like commentary and stuff. And it's basically like this argument that like the intersectionality between neurodivergence and queerness is so deep rooted that you basically always need to consider it at the same time. Um, but like, yeah, it's this idea that like again, my understanding of it, I might be inaccurate with this. um, it's basically that like society has all of these like norms and simply by existing as either a neurodivergent person or a queer person or both, because a lot of people are both, it's like subverting those norms. So you basically the way that they argue you should approach it is that you basically like embody your neurodivergence, you embrace it, you make it you accept it as a part of your identity and then you go out into the world and you live it. So it would be like um if people want to use stim toys, just using them out in public or having headphones on, like, ear defenders on if you need them. Even if people think it's weird, you just do what you want, just stim in public. It's that kind of thing. It's like almost like radical acceptance, I guess. Uh, there's probably somewhere I was going with that.
Hmm. What Doc Recht said, it could be that neurodivergent people would perceive less need for falling into heteronormative norms. That's a very interesting point that also has to do with what you just talked about. That like, um, you know, the thing is that like being neurodivergent means that you will automatically turn into this kind of like role kind of outside of general society, which is, that's the main reason why I consider that I might be like not just ADHD, but also autistic.
Mhm.
That I always felt like I was just kind of like on the outside looking in, trying to understand people. Um, and yeah, when you are not right there being like inducted into all these roles, all these expectations and stuff like that, and just absorbing them just naturally as and taking them for granted, then yeah, you're gonna have a different relationship to like all your gender role stuff and all the stuff about like who you should want to hang out with naked in the bed and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Or not want to even, because a lot of
Or not
autistic
want
people
to, yeah.
identify as ace.
Yeah.
Yeah, which that in itself is like society responds very, very weirdly to it.
Yeah, because it's seen as such a fundamentally human part
Mhm.
of being human to,
Mhm, mhm.
to just find a partner and be with them and stuff like that.
Yeah. I wonder if like so I do wonder if it might be partially like perceiving less need for falling into the heteronormative norms, but also like just not being aware of them in the first place.
Hmm.
Because like so me and husband were together for 7 years, and the majority of that time we were not married. Like it was like like for us it was like a business decision. Like we spent we were like basically we lived like I want to say we started living together within a year pretty quick, but like we were not married for like 4 or 5 years. And then we only got married because we were like, okay, fine, we give up, give us the tax break. But like the whole time, people kept being like, when are you getting married? 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 And we would just be like, why? I
Hmm.
don't understand. Why do you need a bit of paper? Like, like the, I guess the like emotional slash societal, like I feel like a lot of the times people's emotions around marriage are tied to the societal narratives around marriage. And like if you're just kind of detached from it, it kind of stops meaning as much emotionally. I
Yeah.
don't know. So yeah, I feel like it might be a bit of both, like not caring, but then also sometimes just not being aware of it full stop. Because like it wasn't until a solid like five, like yeah, like quite a while in, like maybe like three or 4 years in, that like people started saying to us like, "When are you getting married?" We were like, "We didn't even realize we were meant to."
That's adorable.
There are studies that show that neurodivergent people communicate with each other as well as neurotypical people communicate with each other. Yeah. And the communication problems only happen when it's mixed neurotypical and neurodivergent communication. Yeah. Yeah. The double empathy problem is really interesting. Do you know about the double empathy problem?
I keep hearing about it and I keep forgetting what it means.
So it's this idea that so a lot of the times neurodivergence this is I think this is like originally developed in the framework of autism, but it does seem to apply to like more broadly than that. Like it seems to be like an ADHD thing as well. So basically when when a neurotypical person is talking to an autistic or ADHD person, they feel like it's like not reciprocal, right? So
Hmm.
They'll be like, "Why aren't you paying attention? Why aren't you making eye contact? Oh, this feels very one directional." Um, but when a neurotypical person is talking to another neurotypical person, they don't feel that because they've got the same cues. They've got the same like social cues going on.
Hmm.
But that Doc Rex is right. I've actually read this study. So basically, what they did was they compared. So like they put people in like duos, right? Like conversation duos. So there'd be two neurotypicals, or a neurotypical person and an autistic person, or two autistic people, and they found that um, when there was two autistic people, there were no communication problems. Even though, like, you know, communication deficits in quotes is literally part of the diagnostic criteria. If there's two autistic people together, they don't have those communication deficits.
Hmm.
So it seems to be just like a different social style almost. Um, but yeah, when they had the neurotypical and autistic mixed pair, they did find the kind of like social communication problems, but they found it went two ways. So rather than the narrative of like, oh, like neurodivergent people just aren't good at communicating, it seems like there's some kind of, it's almost like different languages being spoken. Yeah.
Why is that called double empathy?
Because originally one of the diagnostic criteria for autism was a clinical deficit of empathy.
Oh.
um and they changed it so it would be like two directional, because like autistic people
Oh.
lack empathy for neurodivergent for neurotypical people, but neurotypical people also lack empathy for autistic people
Oh.
because they just can't relate to each other's communication styles.
Huh.
Hi, E to the 2I pie. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, welcome in. Hi. How are you
Narrators.
doing? Hi, how was your stream? How was your stream? Hello, raiders. I'm Psydere. I'm a research psychologist. I'm also autistic. Hey, will you introduce yourself?
Hi, Teiyu. This is Teiyu, your emotional support animal. I might be autistic, but I am very small.
Yes. You are
That is
very
certified.
you're very small actually.
Yeah.
you're, you're like like a side array could be three Teus in a trench coat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about neurodiversity today, and what it means to be neurodivergent and various other conversations. We're just seeing where the conversation goes, because we are currently raising money for Autistica as part of Jingle Jam. Autistica is a research charity. They research into they do research into autism related stuff, but they actually involve the community in their decisions. So, for example, they will go and ask the community, hey, what are you all struggling with? And autistic people will say, we can't find jobs. We're struggling to find jobs. And then Autistica will be like, okay, cool. Let's put together an employment toolkit, which they're actually doing at the minute, which is very cool. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. Please consider donating. It's all part of Jingle Jam. If you've ever heard of Jingle Jam, very cool 2 week fundraising thing. Very good, very fun. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
How was your stream, E to the 2I pie? How was your stream and what were you up to? Oh, we talked about the size of the university. The which university? What?
Oh,
The huh?
the universe. They meant the universe.
Oh, the universe. Oh, the universe. Okay, I did. I'm sorry. I missed the correction. Was the entire stream like it big?
Like real
Or were
big.
you, I'm guessing you were doing something about numbers. Everyone, if you don't follow E to the 2 iPie and you're interested in maths, you should, because very cool educational math streams. Yes.
I
I'm
like to
not good.
imagine they were just like showing the scythe with their hands and just kept going further and further. It was this big.
This big. Who else is here? Hello, Poisoned Mouse, welcome. And Mean Machine Rex, welcome, welcome. Welcome in. Yes, welcome. I don't know why I said that like that. That was a bit weird. Also, hi, Yoavco. Sorry, I didn't spot you there. Hello, Yoavco. Uh, there's a Korean TV show where a lawyer is autistic. Is there? I feel like there's. I've heard of the one with the doctor. I've also heard mixed reviews of the one with the doctor.
There's also an anime that's like, what was it?
Yeah.
Like House, but different?
Yeah.
Yeah, and of
I
course,
actually wanted to
about a
watch
woman.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to watch it, but I forgot.
Huh,
House was never canonically autistic, but they heavily implied it.
yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Mhm.
I think a lot of characters like that are by all means autistic, probably.
Mhm. Or at least coded. Autism
Mm,
coded.
yeah.
The doctor's a bit unrealistic. Oh dear. Oh dear. Uh, oh, we were trying to make a lesson plan about logarithms. Oh, I see. I see. You know, I no matter how many times that I try and wrap my head around logarithms, I still just like I feel like every time I learn about logarithms, I feel like I intuitively understand it, and then I go away and I instantly forget all of it. Like
You
I
can't
don't
get
know
into the
why.
logarithm.
Yeah, I really can't. Also, welcome in Atomic Quokka. Welcome, welcome. And Academy of Useless Ideas. Welcome. The second season of The Rehearsal talks about autism and how many autistic people identified with the first season. What's The Rehearsal? Wait, docu-series. Docu-comedy. Oh, it helps ordinary people rehearse upcoming difficult conversations or life events through the use of sets and actors hired to recreate real situations. That that sounds like my worst nightmare.
Why so?
Um, so I don't know if this is like different to the average autistic person. I feel like based on what people have told me it is. But like I I rely very, very heavily on scripts for like everyday interactions, and it's basically like reducing processing power. I don't know how else to
Hmm.
describe it. Like if I like go to a cafe, I don't like I have a script that I follow. I've been going to the same cafe at like once a week for the last 1.5 years, and I still do not know the name of the people behind the counter, even though it's always been the same people because I've never asked them their name because my script does not account for that.
I see.
They also don't know my name. We don't talk. Like we just do the polite kind of like nodding in their general direction, and like they know my order, and then I go away and I run away.
Understandable.
But if I'm like actually putting effort into into a social interaction, I can't prescript it because then like if it goes off the script, I panic really badly.
Mhm, same.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Doc Rect. It's like having a flow chart for small talk. Exactly. I've got a small talk flow chart. But yeah, if I'm trying to have a if I'm trying to have like a mm, if I'm trying to have like a serious conversation, if I rehearse it, it's gonna go worse because as soon as I've rehearsed it once, I now have a flow chart, and if it deviates from the flow chart, I will panic. That'll make it worse.
Aw.
That's also why I don't plan my streams.
Oh, true. Good point.
Yes.
And that's what makes streaming so terrifying.
I would find it more terrifying if I planned it out.
True, because you can't account for every possibility.
Mhm, mhm.
So as soon as you have a script, it's like, "Oh god,
Just with
it's
like
not
the
going according to plan.
yeah. No,
I can't do it."
unironically, just with the sheer amount of like tech issues. Imagine if you've got like stuff planned out, you've got everything scheduled out, you know what you're gonna do, and then
Mm.
like as soon as you start OBS, it crashes. That's actually like when I've done debuts and stuff, it's genuinely the worst. Like, if I do an event, it's the worst. I panic so badly beforehand because I'm like, the second that something goes mildly wrong with my OBS, which it always does every stream, like I just panic. That it's over.
God, one time I called like something I called somewhere in the clinic that I go to, and I don't remember what it was exactly. I wanted to get like some kind of treatment, wanted to get into some kind of program or whatever, and I I reached a person and they asked me a question, and it was a question that I was absolutely not prepared for. And I just sat there for like a minute, just like in silence, like,
That's
what
so
do I
relatable.
do?
I feel that so much. Uh,
Yeah,
um,
speaking of that,
mhm.
UFCO asked me why I don't have a diagnosis. I did get an ADHD diagnosis, and back when I first got it, I floated the idea by them that, like, hey, I was wondering if maybe I'm autistic and stuff. And they were like, yeah, we considered that. But in order to get that diagnosis, you would have to go to this place where they specialize in that. It's going to take like a year, and until then, we cannot give you any medication because it's going to take some different treatment to treat someone with autism or something. And okay, you know what? Actually, it's not that important. I don't think it's that likely. Actually, never mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
But then the flip side is that, like, did they then give you the treatment that they said might not work on
Yeah.
autistic people?
I mean, I don't know if that's true actually, like, because I mean, you can still have both, and I did benefit from the Ritalin,
Hmm.
so that that worked, but, like, that doesn't mean I'm not also autistic, right?
Yeah, exactly. The two tend to correlate with each other.
Mm.
Yes. If you have one, you're significantly more likely to have the other. And also both of them tend to run in families. So I'm the only autistic person in my family, but one of my siblings has ADHD.
Hmm.
Mhm. I don't have ADHD. I've been assessed for it no matter what they will tell you. Chat likes to headcanon that I've got ADHD.
I don't see it.
No, I don't see it either. Neither did my clinical psychologist, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. So stop saying it, everyone.
Get fucked. Sorry. I didn't re I'm the cute animal sidekick, I'm allowed to do it.
Oh. Welcome in, Franz Vitalis. I'm sorry, I probably said that horribly wrong. I'm so sorry. I'm so, so, so sorry. Oh, and also Matt, thank you for the follow as well. Welcome in, welcome in. Is there general advice for when someone might want to consider an autism diagnosis? I'm assuming it's a consult your doctor. Yeah, it is an unfortunately a consult your doctor kind of situation. The general rule for anything is that, like, if something is impacting your life, go talk to the doctor, you know? So, like, if you're having, social difficulties or if you're having mental health difficulties, you think it might be something to do with autism, but you don't have a diagnosis, go to the doctor and tell them that. Tell them that you think it might be this. Um, yeah, because at the end of the day, only a clinician can make that judgment. And it's a very complicated judgment that requires knowing basically everything about your developmental history. And it takes a really long time. How long was your ADHD assessment?
That's a good question. It was really long ago. I guess it did take like, I don't know, 3 appointments or so. Bunch of what's the word? Friggin' questionnaires, and handing in copies of my like grade school, grade cards, stuff like that.
Yeah, my I had an adult autism diagnosis. It was 6 hours the assessment.
Mm.
Because they were like, "Do you want to do it all in one day, or do you want to chop it up into multiple appointments?" And I was like, "Just do it all in one day. Just get it out the way. I can't.
Let's go.
I can't keep coming back." Yes, I did need a break in the middle though.
I can imagine.
Yeah, they were like, "Okay, time for your autism lunch break."
Here's the chicken nuggies.
Yeah!
Yeah.
McDonald's, McDonald's.
Pop, pop, pop.
I account for different pronunciations of my username. Thank you. I appreciate that. I also account for different pronunciations of my username. It's Psydere, by the way. It's not Psydere. Just so you all know.
That right there, that's a side there.
Yeah, I had the Greg's break exactly. I had to go get my Greg's. Also, hi Jeb, coming. Welcome in. Welcome in. I feel like there was something I was going to say about the paper. Yeah, the paper. Okay, I remember now. Wait, there's an ad.
Paper.
Never mind. I'll come back. We'll come back to that in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Sausage rolls, exactly.
Uh, what was it?
It's my goal to take all of my friends to Greg's eventually. That was a threat, by the way.
Oh god. Okay. I mean, sure. Next year for the what was it? VGen, not VGen, the
Expo.
Expo that I'm totally
Expo's
going
so
to.
fun.
Let's go.
Please come to Vexpo. It's really fun.
Okay.
My manager's the community manager for Vexpo, but the two things are unrelated. I liked it before I met him.
Oh, that is so cool.
The two things are unrelated.
I'm excited.
Honestly, I'm such a big fan. It's like it's because everybody there's so friendly, and also like I have a sneaking suspicion that it could also basically be called Neurodiversity Con, and it would still be
Honestly.
accurate.
Yeah. I like how you're kind of turning into that. Someone posted a comment. Yeah, all chats think all streamers are autistic and have ADHD. You're doing it yourself now.
It's okay. It's okay. I do actually unironically really want to know about like the rates of neurodivergence in the VTubing community because it seems to be everyone.
I mean, it does make sense for VTubing, right? Because like it's like being able to connect to someone on like a level that might actually be on some level deeper than like the when people actually show their faces, because then they're more likely to like really try to act like their best self and like present themselves in a particular way. And, it's not just connecting to them through something that might be like a hyperfixation or something, but also in a way that like kind of simplifies everything and makes it easier to like get into and feels less threatening because it's less like, I mean, I made myself a support animal because like, a lot of people, especially like, autistic people find animals so much easier to deal with and
Mhm,
to accept as like friendly, you
mhm.
know?
Yeah, I feel like I think there was some research that found that like neurotypical people prefer like human faces and neurodivergent people, it might have been specifically autistic people, prefer cartoon characters, whether they're
Hmm.
human or not. So I wonder if that plays into it a little bit. Like, it's just like a kind of like visual preference. Because for me, like, I like talking to people in person, but I find it's not necessarily the people that's the problem. It's like the environments that we're in. It like if I'm so like on Sunday I went to an arcade, right? And I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. But like
Mhm.
I was like I've only just started feeling not tired from the arcade, partially because I did 3 hours of back-to-back DDR, but partially because it's like so loud and there's so much like bright lights, but then it was also kind of like dimmed lighting overall, so it made the lights on the games even brighter. And like, there's like people laughing and children screaming and then the music from all of the rhythm games and stuff, and it's like it's a lot. It's a lot. So, like,
God.
even when my muscles had healed from DDR, I still spent, like, most of today just like, I can't
Mm.
function."
I get that. Like, if someone, if there happens to be someone watching who is in charge of like organizing TwitchCon, this is a call out because like when I was in at TwitchCon Europe this year, it like there was like this. I don't know if it was an official after party or something, but like there was this after party where it was just like so loud. I went there with people at like the same table and we ended up communicating via our phones, just chatting because like I need I'm not the kind of autistic person who usually needs like kind of like these headphones and stuff, you know, like sometimes, I do sometimes get overwhelmed at like, the checkout line or whatever when
Mm,
I'm like already kind of stressed. But that was like almost painful. It was just on the edge.
mm.
Like, holy shit.
I had the same thing literally, like, over the weekend. I think it was on Saturday evening. We went to, like, an arcade bar. The ones that are like an arcade and also have a bar. And, like, I don't know why I clarified that. It's kind of obvious from the name. Okay. That
It's okay.
Okay. Um But yeah, so like we were like in this booth. I was talking to someone, we are in this booth, and like we were basically like shouting at each other because like the music was so loud, and I'm like, I want to listen to what he's saying. And like half of it is just like covered up by like random like 90s hip hop. I can't hear anything. And then
Mm,
afterwards, like when we come out, I'm like, wow, I'm now exhausted. Cause like not only was I having to shout, which is kind of tiring, like the the processing, the like separate trying to because I can't separate out background noise and foreground noise very well. So like
same.
having to actually really, really concentrate on that, it was so hard. It was so difficult.
Yeah, that's what made it like extra crazy at that after party because like even under the best circumstances at like, the cafeteria of my university
Hmm,
or something, I couldn't communicate with like a full table of people. Like I could barely follow what the person right next to me was saying.
yeah. I can imagine. I think I would have also given up and just started using the phone as well because like there comes a point where it's just like I actually don't know what's happening. Like,
Yeah.
also Lapat the droid, welcome in, welcome in.
La
People with
pate.
it poor Lapate. Ooh. People
Hmm.
with poor social skills find internet interaction easier. I wonder. I don't think I have poor social skills,
Hmm.
but I am autistic, so don't listen to me.
I mean, that's It's interesting to consider these things because, like, you know, I do you like do you not struggle with social interactions because you just have this unnatural self esteem that you mentioned, where
Maybe.
you just
I don't
don't have a
know.
sense of shame? you know?
Don't get me wrong, like every now and then I have a moment where I'm like, "Oh, that was weird even for my standards," you know?
Hmm.
Like, oh, that was strange of me to do. Or like I go away and I'm like, did I step over the line there? Like, was I rude? I like because sometimes I can't tell. Sometimes I think that I'm like being friendly, and then it turns out I'm actually being like too much. Um, and like I don't know. Like, I feel like there's kind of like different ways that autistic social differences can present. Sometimes it's like people think you're too much, and sometimes it's like people forget you're there.
Hmm.
And I'm definitely on the like when I was younger, I was people forgot I'm there. And then as I've got older and as my confidence is built, now I'm too much.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. But I do
it's
find
definitely,
like
yeah,
I do find talking to people online a little bit easier because like um I don't know, just feels especially messaging, like it just feels a bit more natural.
natural.
Yeah, I feel
Huh.
like I can express myself easier.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, in that sense, yeah, definitely. I definitely find it easier to write because, like, I get to really take a moment to just collect these thoughts because,
Mhm.
like, my brain, the inside of my brain feels basically like a foggy vortex, and I just kind of can make out like a little trace of like a thought there, and just kind of reach out, see what's going on there. But it takes a moment.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just kind of a leaf in the wind.
Leaf in the wind.
I don't know, that's just, I don't even know where that came from, that's what I mean. I just sometimes
You're just vibing.
I just have to start talking and see what happens, and then I'm just like, "Okay, I just said that apparently."
I have now said something insightful,
Yep,
according to
hopefully.
everyone else.
Cool.
That's how I feel a lot as well. I'm like, people are
Mhm.
like, "Wow, that was insightful," and I'm like, "Was it?
Alright.
I was
Sweet.
just saying things. I was just making it up." Source: It came to me in a dream.
A waking dream.
Yeah. That reminds me, I was one thing that I found really interesting about this preprint that I was reading was they wanted to know whether there was like a difference between people who had a diagnosis and people who didn't, right?
Mm,
In terms of uh like their autism symptoms, basically. So they administered a like a validated questionnaire that measures autism symptoms. It's used in actual like diagnostic assessments. And they found that there was not any significant difference between the groups. So once I can find the right place on the page,
I'd like to take
uh,
that questionnaire.
I wonder if I can find an open source version of it. Uh, so yeah, autistic traits and experiences by group. Here it is. Here it is. So participants who self-identified as autistic rather than having a formal diagnosis responded reported slightly more challenges with social interactions than people with a diagnosis. Um, and then on the diagnostic scale, there was no difference in the sum score or in the proportion of participants who met the clinical cutoff. So there's like a cutoff where like if you're over this score, you're likely to be autistic, and there was no significant difference between the people who with a formal diagnosis and the people without one.
Hmm.
Um, 94.5% of self-identifying participants were over the clinical cutoff, and 93.9% of diagnosed participants were. So that I found really, really interesting. Like, if there is diagnostically no different, if there is diagnostically no difference even, then like
Mm.
does that mean that autistic people are actually pretty good at identifying their own autistic symptoms? Is autism unique in that sense? What about other neurodivergences? I have many questions.
Huh. God, I have no idea about that.
Yeah. Because, like, the one of the things that, like, you hear a lot about in psychology as a professional is, like, self-diagnosis bad, right?
Hmm,
And then the thing that you hear from the community is that, like, well, we need to do self-diagnosis because there's so many barriers to accessing it. And, like, even when you get the diagnosis, there are now more barriers to just, like, living your life because it's basically a coin flip as to whether, you apply for a job and they're accepting of your diagnosis or they're not.
hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm not sure how to process this information.
Me neither. It's so I don't I don't even know if I how I feel about my own like quote unquote chances of being autistic because like
Mhm,
it's so hard to gauge because like you know um it's just kind of this weird vibe thing where I always felt like I was like kind of learning socialization as like a second language, so to speak, constantly trying to like understand other people like actively rather than just intuitively.
mhm,
And you know, I there's things like commonly there's these um sensory issues where you're like oversensitive to some stimuli and such and I'm like, man, I don't really have that. But then I think about like the fact that I have such heavy brain fog all the time and I don't remember a time when that wasn't the case. Like, is that just my brain like literally trying to put up a barrier to just soften everything because otherwise it would be too overwhelming? I have no idea.
That's an interesting thought. But, like, the other thing that's interesting is that, like, people talk a lot about, like, sensory oversensitivity. That seems
Hmm,
to be, like, what the common narrative is, but it can go both ways. So, like,
hmm,
I'm not I'm kind of sensitive to lights sometimes, but only if I'm already stressed.
hmm,
I'm same with noise, like, I I'm not really sensitive to noise. It's more that, like, I can't pass out background noise and foreground noise very well. Um, and when I'm having to do that, it's really, really tiring.
hmm,
Um, but, like, my main, like, sensory difference is actually, like, for food, right? So a lot of people will be like, autistic people tend to be fussy. Okay. Autistic people have like texture problems or taste problems. Like they don't like certain things and they only eat really restrictive foods. I'm the opposite. I have like undersensitive taste buds and like I'm
hmm,
undersensitive to food texture. So I will eat literally anything. Like as long as it's vegan, I will eat it. You can put down like the gnarliest combination of vegan ingredients in front of me and I will just sit there and I will eat it and I will have no problem with it.
hmm.
Like it has to be basically gone off for me to realize there's something wrong with it.
Yeah, it's my understanding too that like actually, you know what? This is like a sort of like pre hypothesis that I have is that autism is basically defined by being either oversensitive or undersensitive to some
Mhm,
kind of stimulus.
mhm. Yeah, and I feel like you could also be both because I also hate silence. Like,
Hmm.
it's not that it makes me feel uncomfortable, it's that it hurts. Like, if
Huh.
it's pure silence, apart from like if I'm like fixated on something, if I am hyper focused and locked in, like nothing will bother me. I like you like there can be like drilling happening right next to me and I won't notice it. It can be dead silent, I won't notice it. But like if I'm not hyper focused on something and I'm just like, going about my day-to-day life, if it's completely silent, it like hurts.
Hmm.
It's so weird. It's not like a I don't know how to describe it. It's not emotionally uncomfortable, it's physically uncomfortable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm. But yeah, like, of course, it can be like a combination of different, like, being sensitive to one thing and undersensitive to one thing. And one thing that got me thinking about that is that I was thinking about, like, I once had a lady come up to me, telling me that she can tell what kind of person I am because she can read auras.
Oh.
And I was wondering, like, how does that happen? And eventually I came to the conclusion that it's because that it's a form of synesthesia. Now, I
Mhm.
did do a little bit of research just now, and Wikipedia said that there's, like, basically no connection been found between synesthesia and seeing auras.
Okay.
But I don't know. I could still see it having, like, a similar mechanism that, like, you know, that reading people's faces and expressions and stuff like that is still some kind of like a, neurological thing that could, like, crossfire the same way that other synesthetic, like, senses can. And in that sense, I could see that, like, whether people are, like, unable to interpret, like, emotions in people's faces, or whether they can't look at people's eyes because it's just too much going on there or stuff. Like, that is also a neurological thing where they either are, like, overly or underly, like, sensitive.
Mhm. Yeah, because that's how it feels for me. Is it like when I look at someone in the eye, it's not like yeah, it's not like emotionally uncomfortable. It's like physiologically uncomfortable.
Oh.
And I do wonder if that is like the crossed wires type of thing. I I read a really I didn't read the paper, but I read like a research paper like briefing thing the other day. And it was this theory that's just been put forward, which is like basically they argued that being autistic is like your fight or so the way that your like fight or flight response works is that there's one part of your nervous system that is responsible for ramping it up and making you, stressed. And then there is
Hmm.
another part of your nervous system that is responsible for ramping it down. So it's like sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. And the theory that they've put forward is that like autistic people, the one that ramps up works fine, but the one that ramps down doesn't.
Huh.
So, when like a neurotypical person goes into like a busy shopping center, they might feel stressed at first. Like the sympathetic nervous system would ramp up, but then the parasympathetic one after a while kicks in as they're getting used to how much stimulus there is going on around them, and then they calm down again, and then they just go about their day. Whereas, like for an autistic person, they go into a busy shopping center, uh, they have the stress response, and then it just doesn't stop.
Hmm.
And then like as additional stresses pile on top of it, there's no break basically. There's no oh, uh-oh, my tracking's
Uh-oh.
died. Wait.
Out of.
Uh-oh, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. But yeah, there's like no break. So it just continues and continues and it like spirals and then that ends up with the autistic person either having a meltdown or a shutdown.
Mm.
Yes.
That rings true, not just in terms of my own experience, but also from, um, I have an autistic friend
Mhm.
who, um, I've kept trying to, like, suggest ways to, like, calm down from, like, uh, a heightened state, and just nothing works. Everything seems to just make it worse even. So, huh.
Yeah, because like breathing exercises and stuff don't work for me. Like
Oh.
they don't do anything. Progressive muscle relaxation, it doesn't do anything. Like when people are like, "Oh, if you've had a bad day, go take a long bath or something." It doesn't do anything. I just sit in the bath and continue to be stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Progressive muscle relaxation does work for me,
Mhm.
but I wonder why does the other stuff not work? Like,
No.
is it maybe partially because of the guided thing? Like, does it feel like you maybe like a kind of that what was it called? Like that thing where you don't want to do the thing that you're told to do, or
Oh,
does or
demand
or there's
avoidance.
also the thing, yeah, yeah, yeah. Or is it, or there's also the thing where it feels like you're lying to yourself if you tell yourself to be like, when you tell yourself, "I'm feeling calm," and then you're just like, "No, I'm not."
I don't really do that as much. Actually, that's a lie. I do. I do that.
Huh.
You're still stressed, but now you're stressed and clean. That's exactly how I feel about baths. Like I'm
Mm.
still stressed. It's just now that I'm like also too hot.
Yeah, the bath either gives me a headache or it's too cold.
I don't even like feel clean in a bath because that like the dirt like the dirt's just gone into the water and you're now surrounded by the water which the dirt is in. Like
Yeah, and you have to shower afterwards.
yeah, exactly. Or shower beforehand and then hope that the bath is clean.
It is not.
It is not. No, my bath is never clean. It's like the one piece of housework that I just can never bring myself to do. Like I will go around, I will clean my whole flat, I will vacuum, I will mop, I will dust, I will take the bins out, I will wipe all of the surfaces, I'll put everything away, I will clean the toilet, I will clean the bathroom sink, and then I will look with disdain at the bathtub and I'll go, that's a problem for me in 6 months.
Well, you in 6 months looks back and is like, "Just God damn it.
Yeah.
How dare you? How dare you past me?"
I can't believe I've done this. Oh, I hate cleaning the bath.
Same. Um, would you like to catch up on chat?
Uh, yes. Let's do
Mm,
that. Let's
mm.
see. Uh, this. Me, I wouldn't say I'm bad at social skills. I'm bad at seeming. I'm good at seeming honest and leading people through subjects that they can be unfamiliar with or find hard to do with others, such as life art or talking about something they're interested in. But for normal interactions, I find it so hard because it's hard to figure out others' boundaries in a normal interaction. Yeah, I'm also pretty bad at like boundaries. My approach is like I go in conservatively, if that makes sense. Like I just assume everything would be a boundary violation. So I don't come in their personal space. I don't talk about things that would might upset someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, look at the weather.
Golly
Isn't
gosh.
that isn't it weatherly?
And then it turns out they're a climate change denier.
That's so dope. That's happened to me. That's happened to me. I okay, I gotta be real, like telling people what my PhD is on is the single most dangerous thing that I can do as small
Oh
talk.
god.
Because like half the time they'll be like, "Wow, that's so interesting. Tell me about your research." And then they will go off into like, "Oh, one of my parents is down this rabbit hole," or like one of my neighbors has started doing this. And then I have to sit and listen to what their neighbors think and then rant because they don't really have anyone else that they can talk to about it. Or I talk to the neighbor and they start off the conversation with, "Wow, that's so interesting. Which ones are true though?"
Well, that's so
I think
interesting.
this
How does
one.
it feel to be evil?
I've had a few times. It's always taxi drivers for some reason. Like
Huh.
where I've basically they've asked and I'm like, I do this, I research conspiracy theories and misinformation, and then they're like, ah, yes, scientists are doing all sorts of terrible things. And I just kind of sit there and go, haha, good thing that the average person forgets that psychology is a science, laughs
Mm.
nervously.
Huh. Mm.
But if it's like someone that I'm closer to, like, like family or someone, then I'll be like, well, I'm a scientist. Am I doing that? And then they'll be like, no, you're different. Then I'll be like, what about all of my friends that are scientists? Are they doing that? And they're like, well, they're your friends, so they're probably fine. And then I'm like, what about their friends? Are they doing that?
Oh god.
Yeah.
It's always the ones you know that are okay by happen chance.
Yep. Having roommates that were frat dudes when I was young scarred me into survival cleaning. And yes, there are stories involving showers, so the whole bathroom and the kitchen must be cleaned.
Oh
Oh,
no.
oh no, oh no.
I'm so sorry.
My most annoying, like, shared living experience was in my bachelor's. I moved into a shared house with people I didn't know. It was like pure gacha. Um, and we had a dishwasher in the house. It was a good dishwasher, and two of the housemates would just keep like leaving their plates in the sink. They would make their food and they would leave everything in the sink. And so I was like, this is silly. So I started then putting their stuff into the dishwasher. And then one of them like confronted me and was like, don't touch my stuff. Don't put it in the dishwasher. I don't like it in the dishwasher. And I was like, I've only been putting in stuff that's dishwasher safe. And she was like, I don't care. Don't do it. I don't like it. Don't touch my stuff. And I was like, well, I wouldn't put it in the dishwasher if you didn't leave it out on the side and let it go moldy. And she was like, well, that's my problem, isn't it? And I was like, it's my problem too. I live here.
Oh
This is when
god.
I decided I would never live with a neurotypical person ever again.
Huh. Yeah. God. It rem it reminds me of something we were just talking about in my Discord, like, about, the ethics of, vegetarianism, but in a different way, like, um, I had a friend who, accidentally bought some candy which has, like, gelatin in it,
Mhm.
and, um, they made an exception for me to just give it to me instead of throwing it away.
Mhm.
'Cause, like, they would not have given it to someone else, they would have just thrown it away, and, to me, it's just like, why though? Like, the damage has already been done. Like, the meat is murder has already been done, and you've already given money to the people who did it, so, like, at this point, it's like, why?
Yeah.
I guess at that point, it's just, like, a matter of principle, a matter of, like, keeping your conscience clean of like associating with the thing that you don't like. And in a similar sense, I guess, I mean, to be fair, this person was by no means neurotypical, but I guess a lot of people have something like that where they just kind of have these strong feelings regarding something because it's like kind of part of their identity, like, this is my plate. You don't
Yeah.
touch the thing because it's my plate. That's my mold.
Yeah. And I wonder if some people just experience that like more strongly than others. Cause I'm like, yeah, just like if you want to put my stuff in the dishwasher for me, go for it. Go
Hmm,
for it. Just put it in there. I don't care. Like it's a plate, you know? I don't
hmm,
get like super attached to stuff like that. But then I also have been, you know, giving Cosmod's non-vegan food away to people because I'm like, I would prefer not to bin it. So yeah.
hmm,
So I also take the approach of like if I buy something by accident, I'm either giving it away or donating it.
hmm. I do wonder, like, h- in what way that might be related to like neurodivergence. Like, I feel like people who feel like that person who felt so strongly about their mold, you know,
Mhm.
I I feel like they probably came from a household where like they probably had like very difficult familial upbringing where, like, they felt like their autonomy was constantly being challenged and stuff like that. So they feel very strongly about, like, no, this is me, this is mine, stuff like that.
Maybe.
Um, I do wonder if, like, neurodivergent people are more inclined to just be like, I don't know, you know, just more. I I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Just like not caring about stuff where they can't really explain why it wouldn't matter, you know?
Maybe.
I
But I know a lot of autistic people that are like, I need to collect this thing just because I need to.
huh, 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 huh.
Don't touch the thing. This is my thing. Don't touch it. Uh,
Mm,
yeah. Like, I mean, I'm kind of like it too a little bit.
mhm,
But it's not like it's never practical things. It's like sentimental things. And like
mm.
this person's plates were not sentimental. Like
Yeah.
they were just like we'd get like on the first day we'd get like boxes with generic stuff in, and it was the generic stuff. So
Mm,
that's why I was like, how do you even tell which one's yours? Like they all look the same.
mm, mm. Yeah, maybe I just think that's one of those things where I don't know if it's like autistic or just the way that I grew up is that, like, I was never a part of any social groups, so I didn't pick up much about, like, feeling a sense of connectedness to a group, feeling like a sense of identity as part of a group, which is why I don't feel any attachment to, like, I don't know, my country, even my family to an extent. And um, yeah, I don't know if, like, I never managed to become part of a group because of autism, or if I just have, like, similar, like, if I just feel autistic because I just never had that kind of socialization as part of a group.
Yeah. Kind of interesting you say that because like I I technically had a friend group, but I never really felt like I was part of it, if that makes
Mm,
sense. Like I had people that I like there was a group of people that I would hang around with at school, but and like maybe like one or two people I felt within the group, I felt like I could be friends with one on one, and I would like kind of ish be friends with them one on one, but mostly we were all hanging out in the group. And whenever we were in the group, I just felt like I was weird. Like I just felt like I shouldn't be there the whole time.
mm,
Um, and for me, like I do identify with groups, but I'm like not gatekeepy about it at all. Like I don't understand when people are like protective of their group. I'm like, so I mean, like be like being British is probably a pretty big part of my identity, but I'm also not protective about who's British. Like as far as I'm concerned, if you like anyone who wants to get the citizenship, just go for it. I don't care. You know,
mm,
like or like other people kind of process it through like, oh, if your family are from somewhere else, then you're not British. But like, I do the opposite. I like when I meet people in real life, if I'm in England, I assume that they're British, and then sometimes they have to correct me and be like, I'm actually not, and I'm like, oh, whoops, sorry.
I mean, I'm sure they won't take offense to that.
Some
Definitely the
people have
safer
taken
option.
offense.
Oh, okay.
There was this one time where like there was a girl at uni. Um, I can't remember where she was from. I think she was from Nigeria. And like she like yeah, I'd like assumed she was British because like as far as I was concerned, her accent sounded British-ish, and she was studying in the UK, so she was probably British. So why would I
Hmm,
assume otherwise? And then
yeah.
yeah, I was like she was talking about like having to pay her student fees, and I was like, "Oh, can't you just take out a student loan?" And then she was like, "No, obviously I can't because I'm an international student." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize that you were an international student. I thought you were British." And she was like, "How dare you? How dare you?
What?
I'm Nigerian." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
What?
I'm sorry." It was a bit scary actually. It was very intense.
Hmm. Pat, pat.
And then I apologized profusely and she was fine.
Okay. I'm glad. What that red panda is saying is interesting. My
Let me
mom
make him
doesn't
read.
realize. Okay, I'll let you read.
Mum doesn't realize asking, I love your accent, where are you from, is considered a microaggression. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Genuinely just likes to know where people are from. I used to be like that when I was younger. I didn't realize it was a microaggression either. I genuinely
Mm,
just like asking people about where they're from. I like, because I'm interested. Like, I like learning about places. So I've learned how to be a little bit more tactful and not bring it up until they bring it up.
mm. Yeah, that's something that, like, I wish it didn't have to be a microaggression because, like, it's one of those things where like, if um that's what I think of as, like, when people talk about innocence, I like to imagine myself as a kind of innocent person. So where, like, when I ask a question like that, I really do just want to know because I'm curious. Like, um, and if a child asked that question, you would just assume they're like, yeah, that child just wants to know. But, like,
Mhm.
once an adult does it, you just feel like they should know better or something. And it's like, man, should they though?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I
I would
mean,
just
I mean,
genuinely.
I very much understand why
Yeah, yeah,
people take offense to it. Like, I'm not
definitely.
trying to say that, like, they shouldn't. It's just like, man, I wish we lived in a world where, like, people
Exactly.
could just, like,
Yeah.
talk like that openly.
Yeah. Like I just want to know about your hometown. Like
No.
I want to know about your hometown. Yeah. I want to know what bridges are in your hometown. Well, I was thinking of something. What was I thinking of? Yeah, being in Ireland's really interesting because now I'm at the receiving end of it. Like people just casually drop like, "Oh, you don't have a local accent. Where are you from?" And I'm like,
Hey.
normally I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm from England." Sorry, my bad.
Oops.
Sorry. Uh, I thought someone from Derby was Australian. That's very funny. But those accents are totally different. People have
I
accused me of being Australian, so yeah.
I still have a hard time hearing it, but
Yeah,
okay.
me too. But Australian people sometimes hear it apparently. Apparently it's like stronger when I go home, like to see my family.
No,
Because the accent that I have on a day-to-day basis is different from the accent that I had when I was growing up. Um,
I'm
because
sorry, Sai. What I meant is that I have trouble hearing the difference between the accents.
oh, oh,
Sorry.
so over. I'm not Australian. So uh, I don't even know how to highlight the difference because I know that I sound a little bit Australian because Australians tell me. So
Hmm. I don't know.
like
The only thing that, like, I watched a video on that the other day, and the only thing that really stuck to mind is that, like, Australians apparently tend to pronounce the a or er at the end of a word as, like, a really clean, like, ah, which I do recognize
yeah,
as something that my Oshi from Australia does. Shower.
yeah. I say like yeah, I'd say like shower,
Hmm.
and an Australian person would be like shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh,
I do
no.
I do that. I do that. A little bit. Oh no. Guilty. My accent is like a bit of a chameleon one though. So like when I go back to England, depending on where I go, my accent changes a bit. Like if I go to London and I'm surrounded by London people, I sound like I'm from London. If I go like somewhere in the north and I'm surrounded by northerners, I sound a bit more northern. And then when I'm here in Ireland, my accent slightly shifts a little bit, but not as noticeably. I think because it's not really an accent I heard too much when I was growing up. Um, and then like when I'm
Oh.
streaming, I kind of become like an average of all of them.
I think that might be part of why why people perceive you as Australian because, like, I don't know, the video did mention something of a similarity between, like, Irish and I
Hmm,
think maybe Scottish
hmm.
accents and Australian ones in
That
some
makes sense.
fashion. Yeah.
That makes sense because of what the Brits did.
Hmm.
The Brits were at it again. Yay!
Oh, you.
What are we like? Tee hee. It wasn't me.
Tea.
My ancestors were in workhouses. They were being fed gruel like in Oliver Twist.
The Gru alibi.
Yeah. Please, sir, can I have some more? What even is gruel, actually?
Stuff like
Like porridge or
starch
something,
and
right?
stuff. Yeah, porridge,
Like
I guess?
sad porridge.
Sad porridge.
Gruel. Gruel is a food consisting of some type of cereal, such as oats, wheat, rye, or rice, heated in or boiled in water or milk. It's a thinner version of porridge. I eat this for breakfast. Oh my lord, I'm so British. I was
You
eating
still
gruel
eat
the whole
gruel?
time.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
I can't believe I've done this. Gruel has often been associated with poverty. Thanks, Wikipedia. Wow.
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 Gruel and no beans. Who said I don't put beans in my porridge?
Oh, god.
I put spinach in there too.
Uh, I don't even know what to say to you right now. I guess your
Savory.
claim about eating whatever is put in front of you stands confirmed.
No, but it's savory. So like, don't put exactly my beans exactly. So like, you don't put like sugar in it. You put in like, you know, savory herbs and spices instead, and you put in some spinach and you put in some like half a can of beans, and it makes a good hearty meal, which is also all in one bowl, so it's efficient.
I guess that makes sense. I have eaten savory pancakes, so
Mhm.
yeah, fine.
Exactly. Why can you do savory pancakes and savory waffles and savory toast and you can't do savory porridge? Anything breakfast can be savory. There's like savory like pastries and stuff. But, like the French put ham and cheese in their fucking croissants.
This is some of the most passion I've ever heard from you.
I feel very strongly about it. I keep being shamed for my decision.
I feel strongly about my gruel, my sad
I want
porridge.
to protect my gruel. It's a tradition. It's been passed down for generations. Right back to the Roman times when my family were plebeians. Oh dear. My gruel could be a new sound. Haggis. Yeah, haggis. Haggis is oats, exactly, and haggis is good. Although I don't have meaty
Oh
haggis,
god.
obviously. I have like
Yeah.
beanie haggis, which is a thing.
Good to know. I guess that would be less horrible, so that's cool.
Haggis is like as a concept, it upsets me. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, but it's seasoned really well, so vegetarian haggis is very good actually.
Alright.
Once I went to
Um,
Scotland. I don't know why I said that like it was like a weird wistful adventure. I've been to Scotland quite a few times.
I remember the day.
I remember when I went to Scotland.
I
I'll
was
never
but a wee
forget.
I w I was but a wee lass.
I was a wee lass. I had to go to a conference at one of the universities.
Conference.
Uh, I think we might be starting to lose the plot a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. I did want to bring up the question that I
Mhm.
that I came up with before we
Yeah,
end the stream.
absolutely.
Um, so, um, I keep wondering, like, is, um, outside of mental health issues that arrive from, like, literal brain damage, like direct brain damage,
Mhm,
not like the kind of damage you could argue happens when you get depressed and stuff stops working as
mhm.
well. Um, are there, um, or let's make it a little bit more concrete for now. Um, would neurodivergence really mean that people function differently on a fundamental level, or um, is it just like if you like turn some sliders up or down, like if, for example, like to give like a kind of simile, if you were playing like D&D or something, would someone neurodivergent just be like a really just a character with like some stats distributed really high and some really low, and like some feats or skills or something like taken out and swapped out with some other things, to the point where like the character would be very unconventional but could still be played in that same system, still functions by the same underlying logic? Or would they is it really like completely different on a fundamental level, at on the systemic level of how the brain works, to the point where they would be basically trying to play a character from a different game?
That's a good question. Um, I can't really. I think that like the people that would be playing in a fundamentally different way would be like if it was going to be anyone, I feel like it'd be the people with like really really significant differences, um, who sometimes are like non-verbal or need a lot of support in their day-to-day life, and I don't know if I could comment on behalf of them.
Hmm.
Um, like I don't know for them. It could be either. Like there's not like you'd need to ask them. However, one could do that. Um, I think for people like us that are like, you know, relatively independent, if that makes sense. There is this concept in cognitive testing. So, like, once upon a time, I wanted to be a neuropsychologist. So, I would administer, like, you know, like cognitive testing batteries to people. And I went through, like, a bunch of training for it and stuff. Um, and, like, there's this concept in cognitive testing called spiky profile. And normally, if you see that, there's an indicator that there's, like, some kind of developmental difference going on. So, basically, if you imagine, like, do you know what I mean when I say like a radar plot? So it's the ones where it's like a wheel and the graph kind of like goes out from the center in like spokes, like on a wheel or on a radar. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I can imagine it at least.
Okay, I'm gonna find one. Uh,
Hmm. But
yes,
yeah,
here we go.
um,
Okay,
hmm,
let me bring this
okay,
up because otherwise I'm not gonna be able to like process the rest of what I'm saying.
Okay.
So this is a random example of a radar plot. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. Um, there, there, oh, I've still got the brain empty guy. There, there, this. Okay, here we go. So this this is what a radar plot
Ah,
looks
one
like,
of those.
basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a spider web or a wheel or a radar, and basically each like rung outwards is higher. So if you're right in the center, it's like 0, and as it goes out, it's a higher score. And we use these quite a lot to kind of visualize what's going on in cognitive testing. And one of the things that I learned when I was training was if you saw one of these and it's like fairly consistent around it, then they're neurotypical. If there's like one or two things that have like dipped, or like it's consistently dipping, then or a stand profile. Exactly. Um, if it's like consistently dipping across the board, or like, yeah, if there's consistently dipping across the board, then that means there's either like intellectual disability, or there is like, dementia, um,
Mm.
depending on their age. Um, if there's like one or two skills that have like dipped significantly compared to the others, then that means there's like a specific learning disability. And if somebody is neurodivergent, so they're ADHD or autistic, what you see is what we'd call a spiky profile, which means that some things are really high, some things are really low, and very few things are in the middle.
Mhm.
Yeah. So where was I going with that? I've forgotten.
I'm not sure.
To answer your
I
question,
guess
I remember now.
oh,
To answer your
oh,
question, that what you were asking about, is it like just having a character with wacky stats, basically?
mm, yeah.
The spiky profile thing would suggest that. Like, yeah, it's
Mhm.
like just all over the place stats rather than an entirely different like class that doesn't fit the meta.
Right. 'Cause, like, um, I I've been thinking a few times, like, about, like, how different, how divergent this divergence
Mhm.
is. Like, people often like, explain autism as, like, just being built different, functioning differently, but I'm not
Built
sure
different.
in how much that is true. And, like, I I get the impression that most, like, regular, like, mental health issues are just kind of like, very normal things that just kind of like develop to an extent that is harmful, you know?
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
OCD, like everyone can get like a wrong idea about something and then
Mm.
start like thinking like that's just how it is, and then start acting accordingly. And then once you get like really worried and about something and it becomes like a really big part of your life, then that's like really obsessive.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like, there's just a few things where, like, that I'm not sure if that pans out because, like, I don't know, like, neuroses and stuff, like, stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's something that, like, is just a stronger version of something normal. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess, like, auditory illusions and stuff, like, can happen, but yeah, I don't know.
It's That's a really, really good question. And my honest answer is I don't know.
Mm,
I think that is also kind of my understanding of like mental health stuff, is that it's like a normal process that gets applied in too many situations, or too too much of a quantity compared to what should happen, or both. Um yeah, so like the response is more intense than it's meant to be. Um or it's applied in the wrong places, or both.
mhm,
Um but yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
mhm,
I mean, a lot of mental health is just like, a lot of the time mental health is also just like valid responses to a bad environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like sometimes this honestly like one of the I used to work in mental health and like one of the most difficult things was basically like someone would come in and they'd be like I'm depressed, I'm anxious, and then they'd like talk me through what's happening in their life and I'd be like I wouldn't say it obviously, but I'd be thinking to myself like good lord, no wonder. No wonder you're dealing with all this stuff. No wonder you're anxious. No wonder you're depressed. I'd feel the same.
Yeah, isn't that
Yeah.
like yeah. I just double checked. Yeah, shit life syndrome is what it's called.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, why are you here? You don't need therapy. You need a new job and more stable living conditions. Like,
Yeah.
and then you'll feel better. Also, hi, Catherine. Hello, hello. Hi. There's a good understanding of it. A mental illness or disability is either an excess or a deficit of something.
Hmm.
I have a deficit of shame, I think.
And that's why you're a VTuber.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm a VTuber because I have a deficit of shame, but I also have just a crumb left that's like, oh, maybe I don't want my real face attached to this actually. I joke. I actually don't care. I'm a VTuber just because I don't want to put clothes on. I want to be in my pajamas.
Fair. I am literally wearing a wearable blanket right now.
I am in my pajamas.
Same. I mean, under the blanket, yeah. Me too.
Uh, you cope well, exactly. I cope well with my lack of shame, and it means that I'm fun sometimes because you can laugh at me, and I
Is
don't
that
care.
something you need to cope with?
Not really. Maybe I
Well
cope
then.
because of my lack of shame. Maybe my lack of shame is a coping mechanism.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I'm
You
like it
know
even
what?
when life's fine, so
Having shame is too stressful. I'm just gonna stop.
exactly. I'm just gonna turn it off. Oh, you feel embarrassment? Skill issue.
L.
That's so okay. I would like to be clear that was a joke. That is not me going like, oh, you're depressed. Just stop being depressed. I'm joking. Okay. Okay, everyone. Good. I'm glad we've had this PSA. On
Okay,
that
cool.
note, I do actually I think it's probably time to wrap up now because I have to
Yeah.
go. I haven't said what it is, but Teiyu knows what it is. I have to go and do something tomorrow.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm scared. And I'm for once I'm actually experiencing anxiety. Can you believe it? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Um yeah. Thank you so much for coming and talking. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Do you have any preferences for who to raid? You may choose today since you are the guest.
I do, I do. Um, I would like to raid, someone called Hesper's Quest,
Okay.
who is a a member of a group called Positivity. So, like, they're VTubers who are, like, for who are active for positivity and stuff. And yeah, and, yeah, is a really, really cool trans woman, very fun, very much a guiding, not guiding light, like a beacon of hope, a beacon of light in a dark world.
That's so
And
lovely. I love that so
also
much.
just really fun. Yeah.
Do you like the raid message that I've done?
Yeah,
You will be
yeah.
heard and or researched.
Thank you. Yeah, that is
Thank you.
good.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, it's been nice having this discussion with you. It's been very, very fun. Oh, I already
Mm.
follow Hesper's Quest.
Oh, well, there we go.
There we go. There we go. Okay. Yeah.
Probably make me
Thank
follow
you.
her
Thank
already.
you so much,
Yeah.
everybody, for joining us. It's been really nice. As a
Yeah.
reminder, you can go and donate to Autistica. In fact, I would actively encourage you to. They do really cool neurodiversity centered research that involves neurodivergent communities. Um, and it's money well spent, and it helps people. It really helps people. They're doing some work around like transitions from school or university into the workplace at the minute. That's where the money's going. It's very good program. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Also, did you know that you have the ability to get a Christmas card from me if you donate a certain amount?
Oh my gosh.
hmm It's not even much, I think, in the grand scheme of things. I think it said it's like £2.50, but there's only 25 of them. So if you want a Christmas card, you need to act fast before they all go. And all of the money goes to charity. I'm covering the shipping costs myself out of my paycheck.
Yippee!
Yippee! Yeah. When is the next stream? I'd forgotten. Thursday. On Thursday, me and Enter Molomoth are going to be playing some Gatekeeper, which is part of the Jingle Jam games collection, which you can also get at the link if you wish to purchase some very cool games and also have 100% of the proceeds go to charity. Um, and then I forgot. I'm doing stuff over the weekend. What am I doing? Something. There's a schedule on Twitter. Go look at it. That's the answer. Yeah.
Just do it. It's right there.
You're all adults. Well, if you're following the rules, you're all over 16. You can read. Go find the schedule. Do you have anything that you want to plug to you?
On Sundays, I do introspective art, which is like a peer stream version of art therapy. Not a therapist myself, but it does work. It does work for introspection and stuff and connection and such. Otherwise, yeah, I'm also doing a an art analysis playthrough of um what was it called? Constance, which is a new Hollow Knight like game that's also kind of like Celeste and a third thing that I forgot about, Greece. That one. So, yeah.
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 And if you don't already follow Teiyu, literally how? We've been friends for so long.
What?
Yeah. Yes. Please go follow Teiyu. I really enjoy introspect introspective art. There we go. There we go. It's like my favorite stream ever. I like a lot in it. When we're
Aw,
not streaming at the same time, it does
thank
unfortunately
you.
overlap.
Aw.
But sometimes. But also your streams in general are very good vibe. They're very
Aw.
nice. I lurk a lot. There's a reason you were on my top 5 in the Twitch recap thingy. Yeah.
Yeah, that meant a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. And with that, let's go and raid. There you go. Here's the raid message again. I've used up all of my plugging. I've run out of things to plug in the next 30 seconds. Um
Got it.
Charity in it. Good.
Right,
Yes.
in it. Yeah.
Provide monetary value to autism.
Do it.
That was threatening. Oh my lord. Do
Yeah.
it.
Kill
Yes.
him.
Huh?
No, no, Palpatine,
No,
no.
that was the autism charities in the 90s. Wait, what? I didn't say that. Huh? Huh?
What? Oh,
Wow,
no.
what was that mysterious voice?
Oh, no.
Anyway, let's go and raid into Hesper's quest. Uh
Yeah.
I'm sorry everybody. I'm just going to press the raid now button. You're going now.
Okay,
Bye. Thank
bye.
you. Bye.
Bye, 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 bye.